Hi, I'm gonna present you my analysis. It's called the hyperpersonalization versus the creep factor. The hyperpersonalization have become one of the most significant trends in contemporary marketing, driven primarily by the use of artificial intelligence and advanced analytics. Unlike traditional personalization limited to including the user's name of offering generic recommendation, this new stage focus on anticipating customers' intentions, emotions, and future behaviors, a concept that known as predictive intent. Chases such as Spotify Warped clearly illustrate this phenomenon by transforming consumption data into emotional narratives that reinforce their identity and create a strong symbolic bond with the brand. Um, Spotify does not simply present playlists, it builds data storytelling, turning seemingly tribal habits, such as listening to sad music late at night, for example, into a representation of the user's personality. This approach generates high levels of engagement as consumers feel understood, validated, and even seen by the brand. Similarly, platforms like Grammarly have adopted this logic through weekly productivity reports, reinforcing the perception of constant and personalized support. However, the same predictive capability raises significant ethical and strategic dilemma. Is the line between a personalized experience and an invasive one is becoming increasingly blurred. When an algorithm appears to recognize sensitive emotional status such as romantic breakup, stress levels, or personal insecurities before the user constantly express them, personalization can shift into discomfort, disgust, or even rejection. At this point, the brand's perceived value is treated by what it is known as the creep factor. That is the sensation of excessive cyber-violence. From the customer's perception, this trend can intensify feelings of lost privacy and autonomy, especially in a digital environment already saturated with advertising, stimuli, and data collection. In the long term, if brands fail to establish clear and transparent boundaries in the use of personalization information, they might trigger negative market consequences such as digital fatigue, desensitization to marketing messages, and growing resilience to data sharing. Well, in my conclusion, hyper personalization represents a powerful tool for branding, deep and meaningful relationships between brands and customers. However, its the future success will depend on achieving a balance between relevance and respect. Companies will need to redefine their strategies by placing ethics, transparency, and informed consent at the core, representing that authentic connection is not based solely on knowing more about the customer, but on knowing how far it's appropriate to go.
Analysis of the trend in high branding and radical authenticity. The trend now as you head branding represents a deliberate break from the traditional codes of corporate communication, hysterical characterized by formality, polish, and script messengers control inside brands adopt a chaotic irreverent and heavily influenced by meme culture, sky, and more authentic and emotional connection with younger audience, particular Generation C. The cause of the lingo through is mouse, though all TikTok clearly examples and strategy the brand saved away from directly selling its product of building a digital personality that the strengthening imperceptibly and relevant. This approach works because it is perceived and genius. They contain does not resemble traditional, does not resemble, but raise active participation with the culture ecosystem on social media. Authenticity in the context, it's not brand of classic corporate transparency, but of the brand's ability to behave like just another use on the platform. However, the next also highlights uncritical aspects of these trends, the high levels of risks and intels. We, the brands, it's neither easily replicated, no usual applicate. Why the lingo successful capitalists and observes humor and exaggerated without reputation. Many brands that attempt to imitate the formula fine also can be prevent opportunities, generates blind helps, and even public relation cries. Like the reality of the trends largely depends on the industry and the nature of the brand sector church as ranking on the healthcare where trust, serious, and credibility are fundamental pillars can heartily adopt chaotic communication styles without compromising their reputation. This highlights and central tension between creative authenticity and brands society and later remaining essential for building long-term trust. In conclusion, high branding reflects a profound shift in contemporary consumer expe- expression with prioritized emotional connection and cultural identification over traditional advertising messengers. However, this trend should not be understood as a universal solution, but rather as a strategic that requires and depend understanding of the audience, the platform, and about all the brand's core essence. Authenticity, far from being synonyms with choice, must be strategically without with corporate identify the prevalence and pursuit of immediately relevance for ultimating future credibility. So that's all for the team. Thank you.